Hello and welcome back to my Dandelion Diaries. Today we have an ink collection video, and if you watched the video that went up earlier today, you will know it is the Diamine Purple Inkvent, and this is going to be the full page collection of all of the inks together in a little bit larger swatches than the little A6 book that I swatched them in. And in this video, there will be a fun gift for you all, so stay tuned for that. It will be in a random spot within this video. But let's go ahead and get started with day one ink, which was Fortune's Gold. Fortune's Gold is a chameleon ink, and it is a nice warm yellow color. I do think it has a bit of muddiness to it, but the shimmer is kind of like a silvery gold color. For day two's ink, it was Cashmere Rose, and it is a standard ink. This one was a little bit of a surprise for me. It was a nice warm rosy color. I think the shading in this is really beautiful too, and when it dries down, I really like this one. It's a nice standard rosy colored ink. Day three's ink was called Early Dusk, and it was another standard ink. I think this one is a wonderful dark blue color. It does have a little bit of shading when it dries down, much like the Cashmere Rose, but I really like the standardness of this one. I think it's a good standard blue ink. The shading does elevate it a little bit, but it doesn't show up super strong, and I think that's a good quality about it. For day four, we had Masquerade, which was a shimmer ink. Masquerade is a gorgeous rosy color, very muted, like a dusty rose almost. Honestly, looking at this ink reminds me of Karina Loves to Plan and her love for rose inks, so if she watches this, hi Karina. This ink also gives me very strong vibes of the Fireside Press Lady in Rose. The shimmer is kind of like a golden shimmer, and the base being kind of like that dusty rose color. I think this is really close to that. Lady Rose Gold, I've never personally swatched myself, but the swatches that I've seen are probably a little bit lighter than this one, but I really enjoy this color, and I'm so glad that it is part of this Inkvent because I don't think I have any colors like this one. Day five is Nightfall, which is another chameleon ink. And this was the first dark ink in the entire collection that I was like, whoa. It has sheen, it has shimmer, it is beautiful. It's like a very, very dark blue-black. Reminds me a lot of the darkness of the Herbon, I think it's Bleu de Profondeurs or something like that. And it is very gorgeous and deep colored, almost black. Like it's blue-black, but it's almost black. The shimmer in this one is really pretty too. It goes from kind of like a green, blue, gold situation. Very nice, really cool ink. A really fun one to have. Day six was Buck's Fizz, and this was another chameleon ink. The shimmer on this one is kind of like a goldish green color, and this color is weird to me. Well, okay, maybe not the color is weird, but the name is definitely weird. Buck's Fizz. I'm not really sure who came up with that one, but it's definitely an interesting name. The color is a very warm sunset yellow orange, and with the shimmer, it's honestly very beautiful. I think this would be a really good summer color, honestly. I don't really picture it something for winter or being kind of Christmassy. Yeah. Nonetheless, beautiful ink. It does have a little bit of shading, but nothing too substantial. For day seven, we had our first scented ink, and this was Sweet Dreams. Personally, I disliked both scented inks that came in the Inkvent, so spoiler if you haven't watched all the other videos I've sent out. But this scented ink, the Sweet Dreams, smells like bubblegum, and it just brings back really horrible childhood memories for me. The color is a beautiful hot pink, almost like a red hot pink. It's giving pink eraser vibes. It's giving Barbie pink almost. It's a beautiful color. I personally don't really like this one because of the scent. I'm not a huge fan of scented inks anyways, but if you like bubblegum, this is definitely your bubblegum dreams. For day eight, we had an ink called Jacaranda. Love the name. And this was another standard ink. I personally think this color is gorgeous. It is so fun. And the name is really fun too. Like Jacaranda is kind of interesting. I like this one better than Buck's Fizz. I know they were trying with Buck's Fizz, but I think Jacaranda hits a little bit better. The color of this though is like lavender dreams. It is so beautiful and like, it's like this perfect almost lavender color actually. It does have some nice shading to it too when it dries down. It gives me a lot of memories of 𝗕𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏, or anything from the purples in the 𝗕𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏 line. Honestly, it is very close to those, I feel like. it is beautiful. This is a beautiful ink. For day 9, we had Moonbeam, and this one is another chameleon ink. And this one is a beautiful, almost grayish green color. It's definitely more gray, but it has a green-like undertone, and the shimmer is kind of like a blue to pink, maybe a little silver in there too. It's a beautiful color combination. I really like this one. I do think the shading in it is really nice too, but it's not, I don't know. I feel like I've seen this ink before somewhere else. Like there's another one this compares to, and I can't remember what it's called. But if you think this looks similar to one of the inks you have, please tell me, because I'm telling you, I think I have this ink already in my collection. It's just called something else and it's from a different brand. Day 10 was an ink called Velvet Emerald, and this was another standard ink. And I personally really like this color. It is kind of like a teal though. It doesn't really remind me of emerald. I know emerald is usually kind of like a little bit of a blue-green, but this one leans a little too far blue to be considered green to me. It is beautiful. It does have some nice shading when it dries down. Very standard color. It's nice. I feel like this is a good standard teal blue ink. Diamine does teal turquoise colors very well. I'm not stunned by this one. I think I have a lot of other teal turquoise inks that look a lot like this, so maybe that's why I'm not like, wow. But it is still beautiful, and if you don't have something like this in your collection, it would be a good addition. The next ink we had was day 11, and this was called Glacier, and it is the only star bright ink in the entire collection. And you can see it has this very, very bright silver shimmer in it. This is honestly one of the coolest inks I think I've ever tried out. It's definitely the shiniest, glitteriest ink ever. I'm interested to see how this would behave in a pen because of the glitter particles. It's not like your typical shimmer, it's more like glitter. I don't know. The consistency feels normal though in the dip pens that I've tried it in. The color though is this beautiful icy blue. Like they named this one very well. It is like snow on a glacier. It's stunning. I hope they come out with more Star Bright inks because this one's really fun, and I'm excited to see maybe next year they have more Star Brights in the collection versus the chameleon. I don't know. This was really fun. I wish they had put one more Star Bright in the collection. For day 12, we had Humbug, and this was another chameleon ink. The shimmer on this one was kind of like a gold to red color. It was very interesting. This ink is stunning. It's like a nice red, brown, wine burgundy color. It does have sheen when it dries down, and then the shimmer in it, like I said, is kind of like that gold to red to pink color. So beautiful. I don't know why they named it Humbug. It doesn't really remind me of Mr. Scrooge from the Christmas Story. Maybe it's kind of like the color of his curtains in some of the movie depictions they've done. I don't know. It could be that you're just having a Humbug Christmas and you need a glass of wine, maybe? We could go with that. Overall, this one's really pretty. I don't think I have another ink quite like this, and I really like this one. Day 13 was an ink called Weeping Willow, and it was a standard ink. And this has to be one of my favorite inks in the entire Inkvent. I am a little biased. I do love my olivey green brown inks, and this is 100% olivey green brown. But this has chroma shading. I was shocked. When this thing dried down the first time I swatched it, I was like, whoa. It definitely gives off the same presence as 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and I'm here for it. It is stunning. I love this color. I love that it kind of shades down a different color. It's just a really fun ink. I hope Diamine continues to branch out this way because this is a really nice one. For day 15, we had Rainbow's End, and it was another chameleon ink. And the shimmer on this one is a rainbow looking shimmer to me, honestly. It has a multiple like warm tones to it, like red, pink, gold. This ink is beautiful. It is like a dark, cool toned purple, and it has this excellent shimmer in it. I love this one. This is purple to me. This is like Diamine Purple Inkvent. It's shimmery, it's fun, it's one of the chameleon inks, it is bright purple. Yes, it's just a beautiful color. I don't think I have anything quite like this either in my collection, so I'm really happy with this one too. And this is actually day 15. This is Walnut, and it was a standard ink. So Rainbow's End is day 14, Walnut is day 15. Walnut is honestly so boring. I'm sorry. This one I'm not a huge fan of. I love brown inks. It's a great dark brown ink, actually, like a standard dark brown ink. It's just I have so many other like this. It was kind of like, okay, cool, it's another brown ink. It does have a little bit of shading when it dries down, but other than that, it's not super exciting. It is a standard ink. I'm, like I said, not really impressed with this one. It's a beautiful dark brown color if you don't have something like that already. But I don't really have anything else to say. It's just a nice dark brown ink. On the next day, we had an ink called Merry and Bright, and this was a shimmer ink. And this one is a beautiful, bright, in-your-face green. This one is 100% giving Christmas. It's 100% giving red and green and gold, and yes, it's Christmas in a bottle. I like this one. I don't think I have a bright ink like this, honestly, that's this green. It is green. And the gold shimmer with it is really nice. Honestly, there's two inks in this collection that are kind of close to this. Merry and Bright, and then one of the other ones we'll get to in a minute is another really close green ink. It almost gives me the impression of the Ferris wheel pressed Sunlit Jade versus the Moonlit Jade. This one would be the Sunlit Jade, and then the one later on is like the Moonlit Jade. They're not quite the same shade though, so just keep that in mind. For day 17, we had an ink called Lavender Frost, and this was another shimmer ink. And this one honestly took me by surprise when I first swatched it. I was not expecting it to be like a gray purple, but it is a gray purple. It is quite beautiful. It has some nice shading, and the silvery lavendery colored shimmer in it adds to it very nicely. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty, but it's kind of dull at the same time. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. It's definitely different. It's not something I've tried like this before. Day 18 was an ink called Blizzard, and it was another shimmer ink. And this color is beautiful. It's almost like a muted dusty blue. The silver shimmer in it is really nice as well. It gives it a nice kind of glacier-like look. In the actual swatches I did during the opening them up day by day with you guys, I put them right next to each other unintentionally. They just both landed on the same day, like 1 week later. And next to Glacier, Blizzard looks very muted and like kind of more of a dark moody blue, and Glacier's more of like a bright sky blue, but the shading is very similar. They're very beautiful. I love both of these. I think they're both beautiful, stunning, dusty, like light blue inks. Next, we had an ink called Cinnabun, and this was our second scented ink. And I have horrible thoughts with this one too. So like I said, the scented inks in this collection are not my favorite by any means. I actually detest the smell of cinnamon. It gives me a headache. It's like probably one of my least favorite smells in the world. And the fact that this one smells like cinnamon makes me so mad. It is a beautiful, warm, buttery brown color. I love the color of this ink. It is so beautiful. But the fact that it smells like cinnamon just drove me nuts. Like, I want to be able to use this, but if it's going to smell like cinnamon and give me a headache every time I open the bottle, I'm not going to be able to use it. And yeah, I'm still going to keep it around. I'm going to use it as best I can, but I was so upset that it smelled like cinnamon. I was hoping it would smell more like a honey bun or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's a beautiful color, a beautiful, beautiful color. For day 20, we had an ink called Astral, and this is another chameleon ink. This one was so fun to open up. I was not expecting them to put a black ink into the Inkvent, and this one is beautiful. It is almost like a greenish brown black though. It's not black black. It does have some sheen to it, which is black, and then the shimmer in it is kind of like this tealy green blue color. It is really pretty. This one is really nice. It reminds me a lot of the 𝗏𝘃𝗄𝑚𝑎kers Polar Lights, if you've ever given that a try, except this one's a little bit more wet, and I love that about it. It is a really fun ink for sure. Alright, it is at this point in the video that I'm going to be talking about the gift that I have for you all, and that is I am going to be doing a giveaway with these inks. So, to enter the giveaway, you must like this video, you must be subscribed to my channel, and you must also follow me on Instagram. And the thing that'll be entering you the most is you have to comment your favorite ink from this entire Inkvent into the comments to be entered to win. The winner will be announced on January 5th, which gives plenty of time through the holidays to participate. And what you will be winning in the giveaway is 10 samples from this Inkvent of your choice. So out of all 25 inks, you get to pick 10 to receive a sample of. And they will be little sample vials. I'll probably do 3 milliliter samples to give you enough ink to test it out in a couple of pens. Since these are smaller bottles, I don't think I could really do 5 milliliter samples, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's what it's going to be. You're going to get to pick 10 of the inks out of the whole collection to receive in the giveaway. Now let's get back to swatching some inks. For day 21, we had an ink called Tranquility, and this was another chameleon ink. Tranquility is this beautiful, deep magenta color. It is stunning, honestly. It reminds me a lot of 𝗂𝗵𝘄𝗃, but it has shimmer. And the shimmer in this one's kind of like a goldish, pinky color. It's really quite beautiful. I really love this one. I don't think I have anything like this in my collection, and it really is a stunning color. For day 22, we had an ink called Tinsel, and it was another shimmer ink. Tinsel is honestly a bright red, and I mean bright red, true red color. The shimmer is kind of like another reddish color too, so it's like red on red. It is beautiful. Honestly, it does remind me of the tinsel that you would put on your Christmas tree. It is a bright, Christmassy red color. I feel like between Merry and Bright and Tinsel, you're set for Christmas just between those two inks. For day 23, we had an ink called Fireside Snug, and this one was a standard ink. This one is such a beautiful color. It is red and orange, and it has some very nice shading to it, a little bit of sheen when it dries down. And honestly, this one reminds me a lot of one of my favorite red orange inks, and that is 𝗦𝘃𝗽𝗏's Fire Opal. It is so close to this one. I really am happy to have another bottle of red orange. I think it's such a fun color to write with in the autumn months. And the fact that it's Fireside Snug, I feel like is a really good name for this one too, because it is definitely a warm, fiery red orange color. And yesterday's ink, or day 24, was Sugar Snap, and this one was a shimmer ink, and here is the shimmer. And this one is, again, much like Merry and Bright to me, it's just a warmer version. The shimmer in this one, though, is very silver, and it's beautiful. Again, it's giving me the kind of same kind of vibes of Moonlit Jade by Ferris Wheel Press. Gorgeous color. It has a nice warm green tone to it, much like a Sugar Snap pea if you've ever eaten those. And yeah, it's a beautiful ink, has some nice shading and some lovely shimmer to it as well. And the last ink, or today's ink, Christmas Day, was Raise a Glass. And this one didn't have any kind of depiction on it of whether it was chameleon, shimmer, or star bright, whatever, but it does have some dark purple shimmer in the ink bottle. This ink is a gorgeous, dark purple. It has some sheen, it has some shimmer, and I didn't find too much shading with it. Just because it is so dark, it's kind of hard to tell, but I feel like it does go from kind of like a dark purple to like an even darker purple in some areas, and it's overall very beautiful. I think it's a great purple ink to end off the purple Inkvent, and I'm happy they included it. And I don't really have any colors like this, at least with all of the properties that it has. I would say in terms of color, it reminds me a lot of the 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 Purple Violet or Violet ink, and it's pretty close to that. Alrighty, I'm going to let these finish drying down, and then as always with my ink explorations, I will zoom you guys in so you can get the up close and personal with them. If you missed the information in the giveaway, you'll have to go back a few minutes because I did talk about it already, and any extra details will be in the description as always. And if you have any questions about it, you're always welcome to email me, send me a comment, DM, whatever. I try to do my best to answer those very regularly. But I'll see you guys in a minute with the dried down swatches. Alrighty, they have officially dried down. I'm going to zoom you guys in and we're going to do some close-ups. Starting off with the Fortune's Gold here, you can see that gorgeous kind of like silvery gold shimmer. Beautiful color, nice, warm, and golden. It is legible to me. I usually don't do well with yellow inks, but this one is dark enough. I feel like I can read it pretty well. Next we have Cashmere Rose, our first standard ink, and this one has some beautiful, beautiful shading. Look at that, it is so stunning, so stunning. Early Dusk, another standard with some beautiful shading. It's like we have our nice pink and then our nice blue. Then we had Masquerade, which was our first shimmer ink, and this one is really pretty as well. Moving on, we had Nightfall. Got a little bit of a red-black sheen there, and the shimmer's kind of like a blue teal green. Buck's Fizz, no sheen, just beautiful gold and kind of blue shimmer, honestly. Kind of green, kind of silver. It's a little multi-chromal. Sweet Dreams, the hot pink ink that will haunt me because it smells like bubblegum. And Jacaranda, such a gorgeous lavender color. The shading on this is really pretty too. Moonbeam, which is kind of like a grayish green color, more gray than green. The shimmers kind of range from green to blue to purple. Very pretty. Velvet Emerald, a good standard kind of tealy green color. It does have a little bit of a red sheen on this one. Glacier, which was the only star bright in the whole Inkvent, and oh my goodness, it is definitely very shimmery. Very, very shimmery. Humbug, which was a beautiful wine color. On camera, it's only showing that kind of pink shimmer, but in person, it's definitely got some gold shimmer as well. A very, very beautiful ink. Weeping Willow, still I think my favorite ink out of the entire collection, just because it's such an ink that I love to write with. I want to compare this to 𝗍𝗏 by 𝗏𝗏 the 𝗏𝗏 line, just to see how it compares, but it really does remind me a lot of the Sailor 𝗬𝗏𝗄𝗏𝗏. Then we had Rainbow's End. This one again is beautiful, bright purple. In person, the shimmer is a bit more orange yellow, and on camera it's showing up a bit more pink red. So definitely some difference there. It does have a little bit of a yellow sheen to this one too. Then we had Walnut, another standard dark brown color. This reminds me a lot of last year's Pick Me Up, just no scent, which is nice. It does have a bit of a kind of greenish black sheen, and the shading does go pretty dark, almost to a black color. Merry and Bright was another shimmer, beautiful, bright green color, kind of like a champagne gold shimmer to it. Very pretty, very Christmassy, a beautiful color too. Lavender Frost, lavender gray color base, lavender gray silver shimmer. It does have some nice shading. This one's just kind of like a meh to me. It is different than most gray inks though, so I'd say if you want like a fun gray ink, this is a good one to pick from. Then we had Blizzard, which was a shimmer ink. It reminds me a lot of the Glacier. Glacier's just a little bit more blue, like I was saying, and the Blizzard is a little bit more gray blue. The shimmer in this one is very chromy too, versus the Glacier is more glittery. Then we have Cinnabun, the one that I'm so disappointed smells. The ink color is beautiful, warm brown. It is a good cinnamon color, I would say that. It does have a little bit of shading in there, but since it is scented, yeah, it does have that consistency of the scented inks too, where it's kind of like extra runny. Then we had Astral, which in person, the shimmer is like a green blue, and on camera it's showing up a bit more gold. It does have a black sheen. The base is definitely like a dark black color. It could be blue black, honestly. Maybe even a green black. This is a very interesting one. Then we had Tranquility, and again, this one, the shimmer in person is kind of like a bluish color, blue teal, maybe pink color, and on camera it's showing up a bit more gold. So again, one of those shimmers that just kind of change your mind because of the chameleon base. Then we had Tinsel, the only red ink in the entire collection, which I'm kind of shocked about. And this one is beautiful. It is definitely like Tinsel on a Christmas tree. This shimmer is almost more of like a rose gold versus a red, but it does have a little bit of a sheen and some nice shading as well. Then we had Fireside Snug, gorgeous red-orange. It does have a bit of a black sheen. Really reminds me a lot of the Monteverde Fire Opal. Still beautiful color, beautiful shading, gorgeous. And then yesterday's ink, Sugar Snap, which was a shimmer, a green base, dark green shading, silver shimmer. I haven't noticed the sheen on it, but it is very pretty. A nice, good green ink. And then the last ink, today's ink, raise a glass. Here is a nice big swatch of this one so you can see all of the fun things going on. Definitely a beautiful purple base. It does have a kind of like greenish yellow sheen. I figured out what this ink reminds me of, and it's the Poison Envy by Ferris Press. That's what it reminds me of, 100%. The Poison Envy is a little bit darker than this though. Alright, and before I end off this video and just close it out, this is the Inkvent for this year, the 2023 version, but I went ahead and swatched last year's version too. So if you got last year's version, this is what it looked like. A lot more standard inks, I feel like, last year, a lot less shimmer, and this year it was a lot of shimmer. So if you're not a shimmer user, I don't know if I would recommend this Inkvent, if they still have it for sale at this point. It was very shimmer heavy, but the last year's Inkvent was very beautiful. It was green, so this is supposed to be like a dark green color, and it did have some shimmer to it, but it's mainly sheen. Overall, I really love this Inkvent. I'm glad they included so many fun colors. This is the second year in a row that I've gotten an Inkvent, and I'm not mad. This was a good one too. I'm happy with this one. I would say again, if you're not a shimmer fan, this probably won't run up your alley, but they're still beautiful to look at, still beautiful to paint with. If you do any kind of watercolor painting or ink painting, I think these would all be excellent selections. Like I said in the video, if you want to participate in the giveaway, go back to that point in the video if you remember where it is for all of the details, and then I will also have some more details down in the description just in case you didn't get everything that I said. But for now, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, a Happy New Year, happy end of the year. Just in general, I hope you're having a great day and celebrating with family. And if you're not celebrating with family, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for spending time with me on Christmas. If you celebrate, if not, then thanks for just hanging out with me on a regular day, you know, just putting it out there. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for sticking around if you watched all the collection, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.